We have like less than 30 minutes before the quiz. And I was talking to Sam. He wanted me to do a really cool lesson, but we're gonna jump right into it. It's gonna be pretty cool. Today we're gonna talk about choice, chance, and purpose. But we got less than 30 minutes, so it's gonna be really brief, really quick. All right? So a little bit about me. So my name is Will Smart. I'm a proud Penn State alum. So that you already know what that means. When I say we are, that was so weak. We are. Thank you. Come on. All right, so look, I'm a recruitment director for Teach for America. Can we put the first slide up? The next slide. Perfect. So I am a recruitment director for Teach for America, right? And my job today is to really build on your last class. We were talking a little bit about like the intersection of systems and individuals' choice and chance, and hopefully inspire you to want to make a difference against unfair systems, all right? So that's my goal today. By the end of the 30 minutes, you'll be like, yo, how can I do this program? So look, really quick, hold on. I know some of y'all are still trying to study, but look, you lost that chance. It's our time right now. So look, a little bit about me is that, so I'm from Philly, right? Anybody from Philly or the Philly area here? All right, cool. So I'm from Philly. I went to the public schools there. And growing up, I grew up in a low-income community. And after I graduated high school, I came to Penn State. But the thing about that is I might not even been at Penn State had it not been for, like, had I not been in the right place at the right time and given the right chance. I applied to 13 scholarships, and I only got one. And the one that I got was because a college counselor stopped me in the middle of the hallway, connected me with this nonprofit, and they gave me the opportunity to apply for a scholarship. I got into Penn State, but I couldn't afford it. But here I was able to afford it, right? So I was aware of like income inequality a little bit. And when I came to Penn State, I was like, I'm good at science. I want to make a difference. I wanted to be a doctor, right? So I was on a pre-med track, BBH and stuff like that. But then I was just disenchanted with like the healthcare system. I remember I was shadowing doctors in DC, and like I loved what I was seeing. I was seeing doctors in white coats putting a smile on the face of their patients. But every morning, and a lot of mornings we would walk into the hospital, I'm seeing people without homes collapse in the streets right in front of the door. And I'm 19 at the time, and we had to literally walk around and walk over people to get into the hospital. And so now, no matter how hard the doctors worked inside, they couldn't help and they couldn't fix a broken system that allows thousands of people to sleep on the streets who are sick and need care. And so for me, I realized I had to more clearly define my why. Like, how many people here want to say, like, hey, I just want to help people. I want to make a positive impact, right? By a show of hands. See, it's a lot of us. For me, that was me too. But I realized I was like, it's not enough to just say, hey, I just want to help people. I had to like have a clear sense of how I wanted to help people. And I wanted to help people by fighting against unfair systems that disallow people from getting opportunities. Fast forward, last year at Penn State, I see some people dressed up sharp for the career fair. I went to one of those. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Anyone in that same boat? Show of hands, yeah, we were the lost ones, right? I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I wanted to make an impact. When I learned about Teach for America, I never wanted to teach before, but like the work that they were doing was like really cool. Their philosophy is that they're trying to find passionate people that want to make a difference, and they want to help you develop your skills and talents to make a profound impact that matters forever, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about what that is and what that looks like. So I actually applied to the program. I did it, and I came back to Philly, and I taught for 2 years. I taught high school chemistry, and it was the most transformative experience of my life. The way that me and the fellow teachers were able to impact not only our kids, but an entire community, right? And so what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about the work that we do and the issue that we focus on. So like I said, we are a network of over 65,000 people, like leaders in every sector of society trying to make a difference. And the issue that we focus on is the issue called educational inequality, right? And instead of just talking about it right away, I actually want to do an example to show educational inequality, right? So look, here we go. I had 3 volunteers come up, right? And these volunteers, they're going to get like a prize at the end of class, right? And if they make a shot in this bucket, right? So can my 3 volunteers, you know who you are, stand up? Stand up, stand up, stand up, right? So their goal, no, don't, not yet. Their goal is to make shoot the tennis ball into the basket. If they do it, they get 1,000,000 points, they get a prize, all right? So your job now, hold on, for those of y'all who didn't get selected, your job is to cheer on your peers, right? So Sabrina, go ahead, take your shot. Woo, come on, all right. Let's go, let's go. All right.
My mama worked hard to get me in this position.
Exactly. You better take, you got one shot, man. Take that chance.
Oh, shit.
Yo, he needs a lot of encouragement. All right. But Mike, go up the stairs a little bit. Go up the stairs, up the stairs, up the stairs. Go up, up, up. Go up until I say stop. All the way up. More. Stop, stop, stop. Mike. All right, you can stop. All right, so Mike is going to need a lot of y'all help if he's going to make the shot. Here's the thing about Mike. The reason I like Mike is he played basketball. We're trying to be like Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Cheer him on. Let's see if he can make the shot. I hope he doesn't make this. Oh. Sorry, Mike. All right, y'all can go back to your original seats, man. Give them a round of applause. Thanks so much for coming down and doing this activity, man. All right. So, look, I want to ask y'all, can I get some mics? I want to ask y'all a question. All right. Did you think that this was a fair activity? Why or why not? Show of hands, someone, real quick, real quick. You want to answer? Oh, you got it.
It wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair? Why do you think it wasn't fair?
Well, people are shooting their shots from different distances.
Different instances? Did anyone think it was fair? He thinks it was fair. Can we get him a mic? No mic. Oh, turn it on, turn it on.
I think it was kind of fair because he played basketball before. I'm guessing they don't have this similar experience.
Right, okay. So it's fair because he played basketball before. Excellent. So here's the thing. The purpose of this activity, yeah, clap it up for him. The purpose of this activity is to kind of show that, like, look, this was a silly game where people are winning points, right? But here's the thing. This game actually represents our education system, right? Sabrina, who was in the front, did you have an easy time making that shot? It was easy, right? So she represents the people at the very front, at the very high class that have all the resources that they need. It's not that she didn't work hard, it's that like she was just set up for success, right? But then you had, Young, where you at? How did you feel about making your shot?
I only did it because people cheered for me.
You only did it because people cheered for you, but was it a little harder? Easier?
Easy as a cake.
Easy as a cake, right? So he represents like the middle class. Mike, where you at, Mike? All right, you're gonna have to project your voice. Was it easy, fair? How was it like making your shot?
I didn't think that was fair.
Oh. Say again?
I didn't think it was fair.
Why wasn't it fair?
I mean, I had to shoot from top of the auditorium.
But you played basketball, man.
Pretty hard shot.
It was a pretty hard shot, right? So here's the thing. Mike represents kids that come from lowest income, lowest socioeconomic status, right? And here's the thing. This basket represents, hold on. This basket represents graduating from college, right? And so here's the thing. Those of us, if we were to all take this shot and I was to tell you, you're guaranteed to get $100,000 a year for the rest of your life, where would you want to sit? Would you want to sit where Sabrina sat, or you want to go where Mike was at? Where would y'all want to sit, the front or the back? The front, right? But that's the reality that our kids are facing every day, right? Students from low income backgrounds, only 1 out of every 10 graduates from college. 1 out of 10 versus high income students, right? Where Sabrina's sitting, 9 out of every 10 graduates from college. And why? It's not because they lack the skills or potential. Like Mike played ball, right? Sabrina didn't play ball, but she still made it. Everyone has the potential, but they have different factors that set them up for success or that don't set them up for success, right? And that influences that. So for instance, I know numbers can be a little funny for people, but let me ask, let me get a mic. I'm gonna put you on the spot really quick. If I was to say that if you were to go on a plane, but it only landed 1 out of every 10 flights, would you ride that plane?
Yeah.
You would ride it, only landing once out of every 10 flights? Like you might not land.
No, actually, never mind. No.
Use this? Okay, perfect. Okay, is it on?
Actually, no.
No, right?
Yeah.
No, because it's like, it's not safe, it's not dangerous. Yet we tell kids every single day in an unfair system where the odds are stacked against them that, if you just work hard, you're standing where Mike is standing, you're gonna make it. But the odds are 1 out of every 10. So look, numbers are really abstract. So look, I needed we got time. I need 2 volunteers. One, I want someone that went to a really good school, like a really good public school in the U.S. Like, your hand shot right up. Come on down. All right. Trinity, come on, join us, all right? Give them a round of applause. Come on. All right. So what we're gonna do is I want to interview them, right? And I want to show differences. Thank you. I want to interview them, and I want us to show the differences, what this looks like, because we're talking about numbers, but we don't really understand. Wait, why is it like that, right? So, what's your name? Tell me where you're from, and yeah, what's your name? And where you're from?
Hi, my name is Remick, and I'm from Chicago.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
My name is Trinity, and I'm from Philadelphia.
Trinity, okay, nice to meet you. And so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna ask them a few questions. They're gonna answer, and I'm also gonna answer too by also talking about the schools that I also taught at when I was in the Corps for Teach for America. So first question I wanted to ask you is, Ramik, did your school have a gymnasium?
Yes,
Yeah, what did it look like?
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty gross.
It was really impressive?
Yeah, it's really old.
Okay, perfect. Did your school have auditorium?
Yes,
Did every classroom have a window?
no.
No. Okay, perfect. Trinity, what about you? Did gymnasium, auditorium, did every classroom have a window?
We had a gymnasium halfway through when I was there. It got redone, but when I first started, it was really bad. And then we do have an auditorium. I guess it's not really an auditorium. It's more like a floor where there's it's not
It's just an open space.
Yeah, we call it the auditorium, but it's not really an auditorium. And no, we had gates on the windows.
Gates on the windows.
So it was you could open the window, but you couldn't open it all the way. There was
a gate.
Yeah, blocking the window.
No, it's interesting because you start to see a little bit of discrepancies, but the schools that I taught at, there was no gymnasium. So where do you think the kids had gym? Any guesses? Outside? Any guesses? In the cafeteria, right? Right where they eat lunch. And so this is just one picture, right? Let's keep it going, right? I want to ask you another question. How did you get to school, and how did kids get to school where you were from?
It was actually public transportation for my friends, and then I had a car.
Had a car? You mind if I ask what car?
It was a 2008 Lexus hybrid.
Lexus, okay. What about you, Trinity?
For school all the way up until high school, I was walking, and then in high school, I started taking the bus.
Taking the bus, all right. We're gonna keep it going, all right? Did y'all have chemistry? So I taught chemistry. So I'm really passionate about chemistry. Ram, did you have a chemistry lab at your school?
No.
No chemistry labs? Trinity, what about you?
No.
No chemistry labs? And so my students didn't have a chemistry lab either. So how did you do experiments at your school, Ram?
Just at our desks.
Out at our desks, right? Did you have like supplies like hold on. Did you have supplies like microscopes and things of that nature?
No. And if we did, it was like one or two.
It was like one or two. Okay, I thought you said you went to like a really rich school though.
I didn't go to a rich school. I went to a good school.
Went to a good school, not a rich school. Okay. All right,
Yeah, I took it a different way.
took it a different way. No, that's cool. I want you to stay up here. Did anyone go to a really rich school? Like really rich? Come on down. All right. I want you to say, what's your name and where you're from? Hold on. Let's bring it back.
Hi, my name is Campbell, and I'm from New Jersey.
Okay. So I want you to describe your school. What was like, did every classroom have a windows? What was your chemistry lab, auditorium, gym?
So every classroom had a window. We did have a gym and an auditorium, and we had like our classrooms were the chemistry labs, but they had like microscopes and like Bunsen burners and gas lines and all that stuff.
Right. So here's the thing I just want to put in perspective, right? So let's say someone coming from the school that I taught at, or even like their schools, wants to be a chemist, right? But the labs, like their chemistry program just doesn't have labs. Like when I was teaching, most of our labs we had to do was on YouTube, right? Because our school just could not afford to get microscopes and chemicals, like to like really illuminate chemistry. Last thing I'm gonna ask, what about sports? Did your school have sports? What kind of sports did it have?
They had sports, but my school was very academic based, so our sports were not good.
Sports were not good, but y'all had sports, okay.
They existed.
Okay, what about you, Trinity?
We were very much the opposite. Our school was like it wasn't heavily based on sports, but a lot of kids went there just to fulfill their sports dreams.
Okay, perfect. And what about you, Rami?
It was like a mix. Some sports were really good and some sports were really bad.
Perfect. All right. Could we do like the next slide? All right, the next one. We're gonna skip that one. So the reason I'm talking about the differences in schools is because a lot of the schools are funded by local property taxes. You see only 4% is federal taxes, 38% is state, but most of it is local property taxes. And that makes sense, right? Hold on, let's bring it back. We got a few more minutes left. Most of it is local property taxes. And it makes sense because people want their kids to go to the best possible schools near them, right? And they want to fund that. But the issue is, hold on, in our highest income communities, they have the highest funding for schools. In our lowest income communities, there's not that much funding for their schools. And this right here is the root of a lot of the educational inequality that we see between high income and low income earners, right? Here's another thing. The SAT, right, is basically the gatekeep, like the gateway to college. How many people, by a show of hands, I want y'all to stay up here. How many people, by the show of hands, had an SAT prep class at their school? How many people paid for SAT tutoring? Okay, I want to hear some numbers. How much was an SAT tutoring class? Anybody, just shout it out. Wait, hold on. You got to say that one more time. $900. Wow, can anyone beat that? Was anything more expensive than that? $100 like an hour? Oh my gosh. Okay. So look. Well, let's bring it back. Hold on. Let's bring it back in like 3. No, I got it. In 3, 2, we're almost there. 1. So look, here's the thing. When it comes to like SAT funding, right? Does your school have an SAT prep program?
I don't think so. I think everyone did theirs privately.
Privately, and how much did it cost, if you don't mind me asking?
Mine was $400.
$400 for the entire class. All right. What about you?
No.
Did you take any SAT tutoring prep?
Nope.
And what about you?
No to both questions.
Just wow. Right? So we're already starting to see these differences, right? So here's the thing. On the last class that you had, we were talking about systemic factors and choice versus chance, right? Here's the thing. A lot of people are saying, yo, if I just work hard and do well, I'll end up where I need to be. By show of hands, how many people had a college counselor as well at their school? Right? Did y'all have college counselors?
I went to 2 high schools.
Two high
So
schools?
My senior year, I went to high school in Pennsylvania, and that one had a college counselor.
Okay.
No.
No?
No.
No? So it's like, so we're already starting to see these differences. So here's the thing. How many people believe if you work hard, no matter what circumstance you're born into, you can make it? How many people think that's true? All right, so how many people think the opposite is true? No matter how hard you work, there's always going to be barriers to your success. Okay, so I want to show another graphic, right? Can you go to the next slide? I got it. So here's the thing. We talk about if kids, hold on, we're almost there. We talk about if kids just work hard, they're going to make it, right? No matter how hard you work, they can extend that ladder. But here's the thing. If that is so true, like this is what we're seeing. The average SAT scores by family income, right? So you see that like at every level of income, their SAT score, right? People that make below 20,000, they're in the low 400s. People that make over 200 plus, they're all the way up to nearly the 600s, almost a perfect score on the SAT. So if people have the choice, then why do we see, no matter how hard they work, this is the averages that we see time and time again. Like this graphic may be from 2013, but we see this year in and year out. All right? And this is really the issues of inequity, right? We had 30 minutes today to try to paint this picture of inequity. And that's not really enough time. It's like a quick taste of it. I want you to give a round of applause for our volunteers. Thank you so much. Yeah, you go back. All right, thank you. All right, hold on, pause. So before I get up out of here, I just wanted to take are there any questions? Does anyone want to ask a question? We have time for like maybe 1 or 2 questions. Does anyone have a question they want to ask me? Can we run them up a mic up there? All right, hold on. Let's bring it back. Y'all got a few minutes left till y'all quiz is starting. There we go. Yeah, so say your name and then ask your question.
Yeah, I'm Matt. I was just wondering how you got into...
Hold on. I know y'all eager to take that quiz, man. I know y'all studied. I know y'all ready.
I'm Matt. I'm just curious how you got into recruiting since chem teacher and stuff. I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Man, that's actually a really great question. Like, in short, a lot of the skills I learned in the classroom prepared me for a lot of leadership positions. And it's something if you want to learn more about, I'd love to get connected. All right, can we go to the next 2 slides, the last slide? No, the last slide. Okay, so look, here's the thing. This is a quick lesson, but look, the whole purpose of this class is to help you think in different ways, right? We want to understand the intersection, the intersection of the individual and society. And here's the thing. We don't know how deep the inequalities are in this country. But the thing is, if you're interested in actually making a difference, we have to get proximate to the issue. And that's the work that we do here at Teach for America, right? We're looking for passionate people that want to understand the inequalities that face our country and want to learn about how we can actually make a difference. If any of this sounds interesting to you on any level, and you are interested in actually making an impact that matters, please take out your phone and scan this QR code. Just enter in your information really quick. What it's going to allow me to do is just send you a quick email with just some resources to learn more. So let me see your phones out. Can you scan this QR code, please? Scan this QR code. And once you're done scanning this QR code, it will give you the opportunity to learn more about our program. So go ahead, take like a minute, fill out this QR code, And then after you're done, you'll get to take your quiz. And here's the thing, if you fill out the QR code, everyone who submits the QR code is going to be entered into a raffle to win a $50 Uber Eats voucher. So go ahead, scan that QR code. Yeah, I'm seeing the phones come out now. Let me see your phone. Scan the QR code, register it. Take your phone out. Sign in? All right, cool. All right, thank you so much for your time. Make sure you submit that form. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.